Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. So today GGG announced a series of upcoming events that are going to be happening all through December. These are going to be short little events that will be taking place. They will vary from 1 day or 10 days, and the 10-day events will overlap with each other. Thought I'd quickly go through them all, give you a bit of a sense as to what to expect. The full details of some of the new ones are going to come out later. But firstly, let's just quickly mention the Battle Royale returning. Battle Royale is returning on a quite limited basis, and I really like the way they're doing this. Royale is going to turn up on 3 specific single days. It's going to show up, and then it's going to be gone. The idea here that I think GGG are going for is that for the people that like Battle Royale, it's going to all be condensed into 1 day, which means that all of those players will attempt to log on the same day, and that means that the game will flow faster, people will be able to find matches, and you won't have either of the problems that Royale can have from a matchmaking perspective, where either there's enough players there to support games, but you have to wait ages to get a game, and then that tends to result in people dropping out because no one likes waiting in the queue for 15 minutes, or even worse, you don't have enough players to support matchmaking at all. So that's Battle Royale. It's returning, and it's returning in the new version that has Brutus in it. Secondly, we have 5 other events that are happening. These are going to slightly overlap, and again, I really like the way they're doing this. For most players, you are not going to want to run every single one of these events. If you run every single one of these events, you will find yourself in a situation where where you just end up having to cut short some of these events. So just pick the ones that look like they're going to be the most fun and join those. Or if you're a really competitive racer, then prioritize Gauntlet above all other things. So the second of these events, starting December 10 and going until December 20, is Zizzarin's Gauntlet. This is an event that runs every league. It's a lot of fun. It's basically Path of Exile on super hard mode. It has all of the private league mods that empower enemies, plus 1 or 2 that nerf players, and it is hardcore solo self-found, with goals of killing some of the top bosses in the game. Last league, the sorts of characters that people were able to make, were able to take down the Maven, were able to take down Cirrus, Uber Eldar, and also were able to take out Maven's Invitation the Formed, Maven's Invitation the Twisted, but no one was able to get down the prize that I sponsored for doing Maven's Invitation the Hidden with at least 4 mods. We'll see how it goes this time. Our characters are a bit more powerful this league than they were last, so we'll have to see what sort of ends up happening in that event. But it is a lot of fun if you're looking for something that is basically a very different, very slower, more methodical way of playing the game. And something like 50,000 individual Path of Exile accounts entered the last Zizzarin Gauntlet, of which about 2,000 or 3,000 made it past Act 10 Kitava. Now, the second event, which is something that has only been done once before, is Endless Delve. Endless Delve is a really interesting system. It provides you with unlimited self-fight, but no access to any content outside the Delve mines. What this means in practice is that you have very restricted access to equipment, and you're trying to fight your way down the Delve mines with really bad gear. You won't have access to Helena's crafting bench. You won't have access to a lot of the other sources of character power that we've built up over the years, like Jorn's Veiled crafts, various boss drops like the Atzuri Flask, like Cirrus's Helmet. All of these things are not going to be available to you. It's solo self-found. It's either available in softcore or hardcore, or at least that's the way it's been done in the past. And it's something that is just quite a big diversion from the game. There's been a number of changes, though, that have been made to the Delve mines in the recent expansion. Among other things, I think some of these actually may have been made with this event in mind. And there's been the addition of a number of specific nodes that drop rewards that weren't previously available in the Delve mines. So, for instance, you can come across a Triumphant Jewelry node. Triumphant Jewelry will drop you a Conqueror-influenced piece of jewelry. These won't exceed item level 83, but they are some of the best pieces of equipment in the game for this sort of event. What you won't have access to, though, and this is really important to keep in mind, getting a 6-link in this event is really difficult. Delve doesn't seem to have any nodes that provide a lot of 6 links, the way that a lot of the more recent content does. And so ultimately, Unless you get a tabula rasa and you're happy to use that for a long time, chances are you won't find a 6 link yourself. You will have to craft one, and crafting one takes an enormous amount of fusing orbs. It's my recollection that there was the vendor that allows you to turn one currency into another, enabling you to turn jeweler's orbs into fusing orbs, but I could be wrong on that. That's just something that I recall they originally last time they weren't going to have that. Then they changed their mind before it went live. So that's Endless Delve. Lots of fun and something that is very different to the core game. One warning I will give for Endless Delve, unless they have changed the mechanics of it, the first node is horrible to beat. The first node of Endless Delve might take 15 minutes of leveling up in order to beat it. That's because Delve just has so many monsters early on, and characters early on are just so weak that you really struggle. Even with, you will start with some unique items in Endless Delve that will empower your character quite a bit, because they'll be miles better than the sort of white items you pick up off the ground. But you will still struggle a lot with that first encounter. It's a little bit different if you're on a character that has access to Caustic Arrow Link to Pierce early on. Caustic Arrow Link to Pierce will get you through the first node pretty easily, but nothing else will. You just don't have the damage projection to deal with a swarm of small monsters that are attacking you faster than you can hit them. So keep that in mind. First node of Endless Delve, if it's like last time, it may be miserable, but the actual experience is worth it once you get past that. And hopefully GGG will fix that just by letting us start at level 4. If they let us start at level 4, then that will solve everything. One other thing that they're saying here is that they're going to leave a little bit of a mystery about the other events. So December 17, 24, and 31, there's going to be new event types. These are going to be announced next week, and they're not going to be the Turmoil, Mayhem, or Flashback events from the past. So I'm kind of hoping that one of these is a soft launch of the hard mode that was discussed a lot during 3.15 era. And that's basically the core game of Path of Exile, but with a number of numerical changes that result in players having much less access to powerful items early on. So essentially sort of thing where you might take a lot longer, a lot more gearing up in order to be able to go from a character that can, say, defeat Kitava to a character that can defeat 2 Watchstone Conquerors might actually take a lot of gearing up. I'm keen to see how that works out in practice, but that's going to be, that's just me speculating on what these events could be. It could be all sorts of other things. Anyways, we'll have more information on that later, but I'm going to leave it there. May your Varlorbs have interesting results.